All right, for everyone that is going on in the immigration system where a lot of illegal immigrants are being deported back to their country. People from all over the world, they came to this country of America and they're in this country and they're illegal and now they are being deported. But I just want you to stay with me for a few minutes. I'm going to show you some clips of how many of them get here and the things that is going on right now. I want you to check this out.
The sheriff also tells us that one of the migrants told deputies that she paid $16,000 to get across the border into the U.S. from Guatemala. The sheriff said you can multiply that by 25 other migrants and see the lucrative operation here.
For those people to pay $16,000 just to come across the border, to come into this country, right? $16,000 is a lot of money in many of these third world countries. But how is it that they are able to find this kind of money to pay to come across the border, to be in a country illegal? Isn't it that money could also start a business or something for them within their country instead of running to America, coming to this country illegal, and then things like this is happening where they are being deported? There are even people who borrowed money just to pay at the border, just to come back to this country. There was a couple who did that and they got caught and they are being deported. While they were there, they were crying and saying, oh, they don't know what they're going to do because the money that they paid to come here, it was borrowed. And now they don't know what they're going to do. But this is how many of them were being transported when they came across the border. Check this out.
Gooseneck trailer that you first described in the introduction, that they had built this extra space that was around 3 feet high, no larger than a crawl space. And those migrants rode up to 3 hours riding just feet from the ground. And look at the video that is just in from BCSO. We just got it a few minutes ago that shows those dangerous conditions those migrants were put in today. The sheriff did tell us this morning, it all started this morning when BCSO got a tip about a human smuggling operation happening here. Once again, the deputies were able to place surveillance on that Gooseneck trailer and another SUV the sheriff says was a decoy truck. Well, deputies were able to trail them to this property off Oak Island in South Bexar County where the smugglers were unloading the migrants from the trailers. That's when deputies went in and busted the operation. The sheriff says the smugglers had that load, they had a different load on top of the trailer used as a decoy, looking like they were just transporting construction equipment. And underneath is where they had that compartment built where they stowed the migrants. Now, 7 of those smugglers have been arrested.
So what has happened there, the sheriff, they got tipped off of someone is going to transport those illegal immigrants. Now, as you can see, that gooseneck trailer, it was underneath those people was, right? And how safe it was for them to travel under there, so it was very much health risk. It was very dangerous. It wasn't a wise decision, but guess what? They are saying they are doing what they have to do in order to make it to this country, because they are probably on a quest trying to find a better life and to seek a better life for themselves, their family, and probably their children. But as you can see, they get busted, and even the smuggler, some of them get busted as well, because not everyone agree with people bringing illegal immigrants within this country. So some people will see it and they will leave it, while some will see and they're gonna tell the sheriffs about all of what is going on. And it is not safe. Think about you riding into a vehicle so low to the ground, dust blowing up in your face while you are under there. If you ever put on a mask, then you will be suffocated because you cannot just keep yourself locked in or covered into something. You wouldn't be able to breathe properly, right? They are doing what they think they need to do in order to find a better life. But guess what? You think that is risky? Check this one out.
A Texas sheriff's deputy made a shocking discovery during a routine traffic stop. A dozen illegal migrants crammed inside hollowed-out hay bales in what authorities are calling a dangerous and elaborate human smuggling scheme. The incident unfolded just before 1 p.m. on Tuesday along Interstate 10 near Flatonia. A white Ford F-250 pickup truck towing several massive round bales of hay on a trailer was pulled over by a Fayette County deputy. On closer inspection, the deputy noticed something strange about the bales, and what he found inside left authorities stunned. Sheriff Keith Gooseneck said the smugglers had meticulously altered and hollowed out the hay bales, building a metal framework with small compartments hidden inside. Each compartment contained an undocumented individual, stuffed into the tight, concealed spaces to evade detection. The Fayette County Sheriff's Office released a statement calling the method not only deceptive, but incredibly dangerous to human life. The driver of the truck, identified as 44-year-old Delbert Flanders from Kansas, was arrested on both state and federal human smuggling charges. He was taken to a local hospital for unspecified medical treatment. Officials did not reveal the nature of his condition. 2 additional suspects, believed to be coordinators of the smuggling operation, were also taken into custody. Authorities identified them as 22-year-old Adanelo Lambert and 25-year-old Lency Delgado Fernandez, both from Houston. They too face state and federal charges. Smugglers continue to use increasingly creative and hazardous techniques to transport individuals across Texas highways, Sheriff Gooseneck said, underscoring the risks involved. The 12 migrants found stuffed into the fake hay bales were turned over to U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement for processing. The operation involved multiple
Dozens of people was into those roles. So you see, even the smugglers, they are being very much creative of how they are going to hide these immigrants to bring them inside the country, to transport them to whichever state they want to bring them. But guess what? There is always a way to find out. People see what they're doing and they're against it. So they are going to call the sheriffs and they are going to let them know what is going on. But it's just to show you how some people, they risk their life just to come to America. And then when they get here, within no time, many of them will get caught and be sent back home to their country. After risking your life just like that. It is very bad. And as you already know, with the previous administration, there was a lot of asylum seekers who they granted it to them. They grant many of them residency. But since the new administration comes into power, then guess what? They make a lot of changes where those asylum seekers, they go ahead and they cancel it. And for those who gain residency, they go ahead and they cancel it as well. They are being deporting a lot of people. This administration, they are not satisfied with the amount of people who they are catching each day. He is now frustrated and getting upset over it. He wants to put someone new in place. But out of his frustration, check this out.
The Trump administration is changing leadership at Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, due to frustrations over the lack of arrests and deportations. That's according to sources familiar with the effort. CBS News Justice Department reporter Jake Rosen joins me now. Hey, Jake, what are the top concerns from officials, and what does this mean for potential changes?
Well, White House official Stephen Miller said it out loud earlier this week, in which he said he expects the administration and ICE to up its numbers of arrests and deportations to upwards of 3,000 arrests a day. That's certainly a number that President Trump has focused on. He said he wanted to see more numerous times in the beginning of his administration. And by reassigning these two individuals, Kenneth Ganalo, who's going to be retiring, he's the head of the ICE enforcement and removal operations that conducts things like deportations, and the head of ICE's investigation arm, HSI, was also reassigned. An ICE spokesperson said that these changes are a realignment to support its increasing operational tempo. Certainly something to keep an eye on, as the Trump administration really has looked for ways to, like we've covered for the last couple of months, Lindsay, up the ways it can deport people and find ways to arrest people and get them removed as fast as possible. Before, there are things like court challenges to potentially stop that. You've seen it under the Alien Enemies Act with Venezuelans, and potentially that act could be invoked against other groups of people to get them arrested and removed quicker.
And Borders are Tom Homan just telling our Major Garrett on the takeout that while people who are in the country illegally, who are criminals or have a violent crime on their record are priority, anybody who's here illegally is not safe.
Well, for Mr. Kenneth, he already reached his time where he's going to retire, so that is why they are making changes of the head of ICE. So, you know, a lot of things has been changed, and a lot more people that are being getting caught all over the country, even in Florida, in New York, people going in for their immigration interview. ICE is there at the court's office waiting on them. As soon as the case dismissed or whatever been done to your case, as you get outside, ICE is there to receive you and to bring you to their detention center and send you home to whichever country you are from. The thing about it is this: these people risk everything, risk their life and all of that just to get here, because they are here trying to seek a better life and things like that. But guess what? Everything didn't work out the way many of them planned it. A lot of them came here, they get into criminal activities. That is their fault on their side. There are still many who came and they make use of their time. They get themselves legal documents, they start a family, they work, they pay their taxes, and all of these things. They become a loyal, law-abiding citizens, while others choose to do other things. Now, even though many of them, they are illegal, many of these people, they also help to build the country. And we have to be frank on that, because even though they are illegal, they work in cheap labors for cheap salary. So guess what? These are the builders, these are the farmers, these are the landscapers, and many of the houses, they are the ones who build them. So we have to give them some form of props. They help to develop the country as well, because they work, maybe they don't pay taxes while some of them pay, and you cannot just blame it just on the illegal immigrant to say they came and they do this or they take advantage of the country. But in all being said, there is certain things where the laws of the country or the leaders of the country, they also fail the country as leaders, because guess what? Even though they're illegal, these are people who still get government benefits. These are people who still get tax return and all of these things. So if it was a case to say they don't want any illegal immigrant in their country, then things like this wouldn't happen, where you are being benefiting from the government. And probably there are rules and laws that also allow these things to happen as we speak. So I'm just saying what I think, and I don't know the law in full like some people will know everything to say, well then, there are laws who allow the government to do all of these things. And no matter which country, once you go there, then even though you're illegal, a government not gonna just take you and throw you outside of the country. Just like that. Even third world countries, even in Jamaica, there's a lot of Asian turn up on our shores, and our government still take them, find housing, give some of them, while they will return some of them back to their country. You understand? So that's just how it is. But there's a lot is going on, and we also remember that these people, they contribute to the country in many different ways, and that is just the truth. When you look and see someone can pay $16,000, $16,000 per person. What if it's a wife and a husband? Then you have to come up with what? $32,000. That's a lot of money. So if you are in your country, they could easily start a little small business, try to do something to uplift themselves instead of trying to run to another country in order to make life. Because even though this is America, it doesn't mean that everything here is easy, everything here is smooth. No, you have to work hard. Some people have to do 2 jobs in order just to keep up with the bills, while some people are doing 2 jobs and they are still way behind where the bills are concerned. You understand? There are opportunity here, but it's just how you're going to use it. It's like you're going to come, you're going to go to school, you're going to educate yourself, you're going to follow the law, you're going to do the right thing, and then you can rise. Many people who came here, some of them, they break the law, they choose to do other stuff. They want the quick money, the fast living and stuff like that, and that ain't gonna bring you anywhere. And a lot of these people right now that are being deported, there's a lot of people who are sorry for them. A lot of people, they are very much happy of what is happening. And it's like some of these people, they don't even care, because even though they know they are illegal, and ICE is out in search of them, many of them packed up in the nightclubs and so forth. See, it was just the other day, ICE was at one of those underground clubs, and what they did, they stay outside and wait. As soon as their party over and everyone come out, ICE just scoop them up. Big raid in Florida and all of those wreck sites. So guess what? A lot of things are going to slow down, a lot of things are going to change, and it's not just going to be for the better, but let's see. A lot of people think it's going to be for the worst, but most people, they want to see America great again, as the administration would say, but some people would say, tell us when was America great. I was born here, so for those who born and grow here, they know what they're talking about. But we're going to leave it right here for now. And those are just some information I had to share with you about how many of these people get in the country, the amount of money they pay to get here, and how things are. And now they are heading back home to their country, borrowing money just to get here, losing all of that cash. Now they have to pay it back. Many of them, they are crying because we don't know the kind of people or the place where they get this money to borrow from, and they have to pay it back. And without earning a higher currency, it's not going to be easy for them to pay it back. But anyway, if you make it this far in the video, you can please go ahead, give this video a like. You can also subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in our next video. And as we always say, if it ain't green, it ain't weed. Yes, sir.